Our first example in Lesson A is to find x and y. And we see that x plus 30 would give us 90 degrees because they are complementary angles. I'm going to add x plus 30 to equal 90. I'll subtract 30 from both sides of the equation. So x equals 60 degrees. For y, I would add y plus 40 to equal 180 because they are supplementary angles. Then I would just subtract 40 on both sides of my equation, and y equals 140 degrees. In our second example in Lesson A, we're going to use the ideas that vertical angles are equal and that when we add supplementary angles, they give us 180 degrees. The first degree that I'm going to find is the degree of x. And x is a vertical angle from 50 degrees. So I'm going to add, or just set equal to, x equals 50 degrees. And that's all you have to do when they're vertical angles. They are equal. And now, if I combine y with 50 degrees, that would give me 180 degrees because they're supplementary angles. Y plus 50 degrees equals 180 degrees. I will subtract 50 degrees from both sides. Y equals 130 degrees. Then our last angle, P, is a vertical angle from y. So P also equals 130 degrees. And so we've found x, y, and P. In our third example in Lesson A, we're again finding what x, y, and P equal. We are again using the idea that vertical angles are equal and that supplementary angles will add together to give us 180 degrees. There are more than one way to start out. I'm going to use the fact that 5x would equal 110 degrees. Because they're vertical angles. So here I'll just divide both sides by 5. Remember, don't divide by the x, we want to leave it over there so it'll get by itself, or be by itself. So here we'll have x equals 22. Then, to find the y, because when I add 2y plus 110, that will combine together to give me 180 degrees. That's how I'm going to set up my formula. So 2y plus 110 equals 180, because they're supplementary angles. I'll subtract 110 on both sides. So 2y equals 70. Then I'll just divide both sides by 2. Y will equal 35. Now I still need to know what P is. So P is a vertical angle from 2y. And I know right here I had 2y equals 70. So I put 70 here in place of that 2y, so 70 equals P. And if you want to, you could just put the 35 in for the y. So I could say 2 times 35 equals P. So 2 times 35 is 70, and 70 equals P. Our fourth example in Lesson A has us using absolute values to simplify expressions. This is read the negative absolute value of -4 minus 2 plus the absolute value of -5. First, I'm going to simplify by just removing or using the absolute value symbols. So the absolute value of a -4 is a +4, but I still have this negative on the outside, so I'll have -4, and the -2 will stay as it is, and then the absolute value of a -5 is a +5, and it has a plus sign here. That plus sign will stay the same, and I'll have a +5. And now I'll just work left to right. Just like you read, -4 minus 2, that's -6, and -6 plus 5 is a -1, and that is our answer for the problem. Our fifth example in Lesson A is simplifying expressions that contain negative numbers and exponents. You want to follow the order of operations, so first we want to start with the parentheses and the exponents. So -2 to the third power is -8. And then this negative is not inside parentheses, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop that down. 2 squared is 4. And I'm going to drop this negative down because it's not in the parentheses. And -2 squared is 4. Then I'll just combine these together from left to right, just like you would read. So -8 minus 4 is a -12. I'm moving that -4 down. -12 minus 4 is a -16. And that is our expression simplified.